In society today, it's more socially acceptable to be pro-choice or even pro-abortion than it is to be pro-life. And I have a few stories that I think highlight that. First, we have the CEO of Tripwire Interactive, which is a video game developer who was effectively fired for being publicly pro-life. So let's just find out what happened here. His name is John Gibson. And this is specifically what he said. It's in response to the Texas abortion ban, where they banned abortion past 6 weeks. And if you want to know more about what the bill does and doesn't do, check out my video about it. But this is the statement that John Gibson made on his personal Twitter account, saying that he's proud of U.S. Supreme Court affirming the Texas law banning abortion for babies with a heartbeat. As an entertainer, I don't get political often. Yet with so many vocal peers on the other side of this issue, I felt it was important to go on the record as a pro-life game developer. Let's say that you disagree with him and you're not a fan of the Texas bill. Well, that's okay. He can still have his own personal opinion, and I don't think he should be reprimanded or punished for it. But that's exactly what happened. There was so much pushback on this very tame tweet that he was effectively forced to step down as CEO of the company. For example, we have this Twitch streamer who has more than 1.3 million followers saying that he's going to boycott Tripwire because of the CEO's personal opinion. Specifically, he said, "So sorry for the folks who have to have this person as their leader." Because obviously, being pro-life means that you must be a horrible leader and just a horrible person in general. Doubly so for people who choose to make someone like this their publisher. I'll be stepping away from these games and won't support that company. Because he disagrees with the personal opinion of the CEO of this company, he is boycotting Tripwire Interactive. This streamer's name is Carnage. I've never heard about him before, and hopefully I never will again, because he doesn't seem like a great guy. But he made a cameo in Chivalry 2, which is a game created by this very company. So presumably, he's received some monetary benefit from this company. And now he's saying, I'm going to boycott them, not because he doesn't like the video games, but because he didn't like that their CEO was publicly pro-life. That's messed up stuff. But it's not just him. Shipwright Studios, who is another video game studio, is also saying they're no longer going to work with Tripwire Interactive, again, because of the personal opinions and beliefs of the CEO, or rather, former CEO. In response to pushback like this on social media, Tripwire Interactive said that John Gibson, the CEO, stepped down. Now, first off, saying he stepped down implies that it was somewhat voluntary. I can almost guarantee that he didn't step down willingly, he was pushed out by his own company. And that's really messed up. They put out this statement, saying that the comments given by John Gibson are of his own opinion and do not reflect those of Tripwire Interactive as a company. His comments disregarded the values of our whole team, our partners, and much of our broader community. Our leadership team at Tripwire are deeply sorry, and we are unified in our commitment to take swift action and to foster a more positive environment. What action do they feel the need to take because their CEO has an opinion they disagree with? I really want to know. What are they going to do to become a more positive environment other than forcing him to step down? He voiced his opinion. He had to leave the company. What more is there to do? Obviously, he shouldn't have been kicked out in the first place. My point is, it's okay to be pro-choice or even pro-abortion if you work for a company. It's not okay, though, to be pro-life, at least not in a lot of companies. As another example of this, we can just look at Food Network, who over the weekend felt the need to put out a tweet saying that they regret giving a comedian a platform, even though he hasn't worked for Food Network in a number of years. So what's going on here is there is a comedian named Josh Denny, who I also haven't ever heard of. And he put out a Twitter thread in response to, once again, the Texas abortion ban. Now, he said some things that I wouldn't agree with, and I'm not defending him as a person. All I'm saying is that he had his own opinion, and take it for what it is. In response to him being pro-life, him saying that he effectively agreed with this abortion ban, Food Network, who had him as a host a number of years ago, felt the need to say, for those asking, our working relationship with Josh Denny ended years ago, and we removed all episodes he hosted at that time. His views do not reflect our company values, and we regret giving him a platform. Now, I don't know when they removed all of the episodes that he hosted. Maybe it had already happened. But this, again, just doesn't make a ton of sense. He hasn't worked with Food Network for years, and yet because he said something pro-life, they felt the need to come out and say, oh, by the way, we don't want him working for us anymore. We regret that we hired him in the first place, and you will never see his episodes again. That seems a little bit petty, if you ask me. Contrast those stories with this one about Lyft, who has vowed to donate $1 million to Planned Parenthood because of this Texas abortion ban. So to be clear, as a private citizen, if you just so happen to be a CEO of Tripwire Interactive, it is not acceptable for you to be pro-life. You can't be vocally pro-life, at least. If you are a comedian who used to work with Food Network, it's also not acceptable for you to be pro-life. But it is okay for Lyft to donate $1 million to the abortion factory that is Planned Parenthood. So individuals cannot be pro-life, or they can't be open about being pro-life. But organizations as a whole, they can be pro-choice or even pro-abortion, and that's fine. They can donate $1 million to make sure that more people get abortions, and that is something that should be applauded. This is what I mean. It is much more acceptable for someone to be pro-choice than it is to be pro-life right now. It's a lot more difficult being pro-life, in spite of what memes like this would have you believe. And based on the stories that we've seen, it would appear that these companies believe it's more important to be pro-choice than it is to have freedom of speech. If you want to read more about any of these stories, all of my links are down below in the description. Feel free to leave a comment if you have something you want to say or if you have any questions. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.